Good morning. Time to make the coffee. This morning's flavor is toasted hazelnut. Going to have it with chocolate creamer. It's only 57 out there today. It is chilly, but we're supposed to have a high of 86. It's getting a little hot for me, but I'm going to be working probably in the house or in the garage today. I don't know yet. Lots of things to do in the house from my summer of working in the garden. The house needs attention too. So, but I still want to make the goal of having my car in the garage by November. So I do have to get working on the garage organizing. I did some of that earlier in the summer, and it hopefully shouldn't take me too long. But I have some boxes out there with fencing and things like that that has to be organized till next spring when I'll put it up. I was going to do that this year, but I changed my mind. I've kind of had it with rearranging the garden at this point, so I need a little R&R from that, and then I'll, after I have a little bit of recoup time, then I'll continue next spring. But I got the garden to the point where it's looking good, and it shouldn't be too much more work in the spring other than putting up the rest of the fencing. I did part of it, and then I'll put up the rest of the fencing, and that'll be good. So, but there's things in boxes out there. I still have my kitchen island in a big box out there. So things like that need to be done, but all in good time, right? Yep, all in good time. To everything there is a season. So now today is the season of cleaning up my house a little bit. So cheers. I always did like the hazelnut coffee, and it's still one of my favorites. So tomorrow I'm meeting a friend for breakfast. Looking forward to that. And then I've got a lot of doctor's appointments coming up. Just yearly checkup things, mainly. Going back to the doctor that takes care of my GI issues. I want to have a follow-up with that, and just some other checkup things. So trying to keep up with all my medical exams. I need to get my yearly blood labs drawn, just things like that. And then my mom's got a couple of appointments coming up, and then I made an appointment for each of my 3 dogs to get a bath, nail trim. They need that before winter. So I've got that going on, so I'm going to have a lot of running around to do, especially in October. But I want to get all that done before it gets really cold, because sometimes we get snow in November too, and I don't want to have to worry about getting to an appointment if we have bad weather, because I just don't want to go out in it. So that's my plan, and hopefully everything is copacetic and they don't find anything any major issues. But this time of the year, it seems like I always have a lot of doctor's appointments. For some reason, that's when I started the process years ago, when I started the Medicare checkups and all that. So some tests and things you can only get once a year. So for me, it's always in the fall. So anyway, all right, well, I don't know what I'm going to do today. I have to think about that while I sip my coffee and look at my budget book and carry on from there. So I will meet you over there at the budget book. All right, here I am back at the budget book. Yesterday I didn't spend any money. I can't believe there's only a little bit over a week left in the month. Wow, that went by fast. Well, anyway, I didn't buy anything yesterday, but I'm still looking for that generator. I know, you're going to get tired of hearing about it. But I just can't seem to make up my mind what I want to do. There's so many choices, so many generators. You know, do I buy a solar? Do I buy a dual fuel? Yeah, it just goes on and on. I don't want to do an overkill, but, you know, I want to make sure I have what I need too. And I don't want it to, you know, if the power goes out, I don't want to be left short. So, I hate buying things like this. I really do. You know, I'd rather buy something pretty to wear, or pretty tchotchke or something like that. But, you know, you got to be realistic, and functional things are more important. So the rest of that stuff I have enough of anyway, so I don't really need to stock up on any of decor, or, you know, not that I'm never going to buy anything to decorate my house with. It's a little unrealistic, but especially if you like to decorate. If you don't care about decorating, you know, that doesn't matter to you. And if you don't care about fashion, that doesn't matter either. Although that's kind of gone by the wayside with me. I'm not as into it as I used to be, because I really don't go anywhere. So, but anyway, so I think I'm pretty good, you know, with all my little prep things. Like, if the power goes out, I can make coffee, I can cook, I'll have heat. I am thinking about getting another propane tank. I have two 20-pound tanks, and I have about 6 of the little, I don't know how many pounds they are, if they're 1 pound or, you know, just the little tanks. I have those. I have extra butane for my butane stove, and I bought that one because I can use it in the house. So I don't always want to cook outside, and I have the pizza oven that I can use as an outside oven connected to propane, just like a grill. But I thought the pizza oven would make more sense than buying a propane grill, and it takes up less room. And I can use it all year round, really, to make pizzas outside if I want to. So I think I've got the cooking covered, but, you know, you kind of have to prepare for everybody and their brother is going to be looking for fuel if there's a power outage. So, you know, I'm not necessarily talking about a cyber attack or that. I mean, that could happen. But I'm talking about weather outages that so many of us have gone through. And, you know, it's not unheard of that the power's out for a week or two, depending on how much damage the weather has done. So I just want to be prepared and not be sitting here in the dark twiddling my thumbs and, you know, fretting, and it's like, oh, I can't cook this or I can't cook that, because there's a good chance that in your area, if there's a power outage, the restaurants will be closed. It'll be hard to get gasoline. You'll have to go out of your area. So I just want to make my home as comfortable as possible if I can do that. So anyway, that's my thinking process. You might not think the same way. You know, some people are like, oh no, I'm a minimalist, I'll just deal with it when it happens, and that's okay too. You know, then, you know, deal with it when it happens, whatever floats your boat. But, you know, if you're a camper, which I'm not, you're kind of a little bit more familiar about what you need when you're camping. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, you have a trailer or an RV and you have all the conveniences. I'm talking about if you're a camper that likes to camp in a tent, off-grid, you know, then you're familiar with these things, but I'm not that. So camping was never a big thing for me anyway. I mean, I've done it in the past, and I remember years ago, this was, I think, yeah, it was before I even had any kids. My ex-husband and I, we went camping with some friends, and we had a minivan, but a very simple. It was more like a cargo minivan, and we had a friend paint Mickey Mouse with a peace sign on the back of it because it was in the 70s. But it wasn't insulated, none of that. And I remember we slept in the back, and it was cold at night. And I just remember we were freezing because, you know, of the metal and all that. So we didn't think ahead back then, but it was still fun. So, yeah, I'm not an extensive camper. I've never camped in a tent. I've never even camped in a trailer, really. But we have friends that have a trailer that they live in. So, but, you know, it didn't seem, we'd go visit them, and then, you know, they seemed like they were comfortable. They had all they needed, you know, their propane tank, and they had a bathroom with a flushable toilet and all that. So it wasn't really roughing it. It was just kind of living off-grid. But it was at a campsite, so they could plug into electricity and all that, and water. But anyway, I digress. So back to my budget book. So I've got all that taken care of now, and the only other big thing that I need to get is, like I said, a generator. And I don't want to make a mistake, so that's why it's taking me so long. And I'm trying to do a lot of research. The dual fuel generators, unless it's, I think it's called an inverter generator, they're a little quieter. They have to be run outside, though, and they're pretty loud. So, you know, you have to take your neighbors into consideration, too. That, you know, if you're running this big, loud thing all night long, they may not be happy with you. Although I suppose at night you could turn it off when you go to bed because you don't need the lights, and, you know, your freezer and your refrigerator will be fine for, you know, 8 hours without any power. Unless it's in the heat of summer, then you might want to do something. So anyway, that's my little budget and prepping chat for the day. I don't want to go overboard. I have food to eat. I have all the things that I need, and life is good. So let me know in the comments below if you're doing a little bit of prep work or if you just don't care about that. Either way is fine with me. So, yeah, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. All right. There's one little project for today. I have to move this, take the legs off. I was going to wait for my grandsons to do it, but my one grandson, he's really busy helping his dad. They're getting new siding, so by the time he gets around to it, I'll have had it done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the dirt out of here, put it over here, and then I can take these legs off and turn this way and put these two little tables under instead of these wobbly legs. So that's my little project for today. I want to get this done before it gets too hot. Right, well, I got that moved over. Very good. I'm very happy. It wasn't that hard to do. In the spring, I'm going to take the legs off this one before I start planting things. I use the extra dirt to fill up that city picker and that city picker, and a little bit over here in the sage, because that's going to stay. So that part's good. Now I have to cover this all with mulch, but that'll happen in the spring. So this is going to hopefully be the permanent setup of my garden. I'm fingers crossed, hoping it works out this way. I can easily get to everything and easily plant what I want to plant. So it's going to be a decent sized garden, but nothing I won't be able to handle. I threw the pepper plants out because it was kind of sad to do that because they're still really healthy, but they're not going to produce any more peppers. So yeah, that's my garden work for the day, and I'm glad I got that done and I don't have to wait. So okay, well, that's it for the garden for today. I needed a nice cold drink. I'm still all rosy-faced from the garden. That's better. So I am so happy I got that done. Originally, I had put the planter box the other way because it sort of slopes down a little bit. And when I had it the other way with the legs, it fell over. So I thought, well, geez, what can I do so it doesn't fall over? Because I really didn't want it that way. So I came up with all those little stack tables that I had around for my city pickers that I'm not really using for those anymore. So I thought, well, that would work great, and it does. So now I'm going to relax a little bit, and then I think I'm going to go to my daughter's in a little while and get some eggs. I'm out of eggs, and they're putting on a new porch before they get their siding. So I think it's going to look really nice. But like I said, my grandson that was going to move that box with my other grandson, because it would have taken two to lift up that box with all the dirt in it. But I figured it's something that I could do. So, and the soil was really dry, so that worked out okay because it's supposed to rain the next couple days. We can really use rain. So I thought I wanted to move it before it started to rain. And then it's going to cool off a little bit. So I'm really happy with the way my garden is turning out. And I've been wanting to get those city picker boxes, the stands, for a few years already. So I thought, well, there's no time like the present because it's getting too hard for me to keep moving things around. And actually they have wheels so that I can move them if I want to. So, and I wanted to put everything together rather than having everything so spread out. So I still have work to do in the spring, and that's okay. But for now, other than throwing out the spent plants, maybe harvesting some herbs. I still have herbs out there that I should harvest and dry. And then that'll be it. Put the garden to bed for the winter. I might throw a few seeds in a couple of the boxes with kale and some lettuce. But I do have kale that's finally starting to grow, because it's been too hot, and it's kale I started from seed, so now's a good time for it to grow. And sometimes kale, depending on the weather, will overwinter, Now for some of those city picker boxes and some of the other boxes, I actually have the little portable greenhouses. So I could actually grow greens up until, the beginning of December, mid-December, I'm thinking. But I don't know if I want to do that. I think at this point, with everything that I've done in the garden, I think I need a little bit of a break. And to buy greens in the store isn't that expensive, so I don't know. We'll see. So I'm tired now. Having a garden is a lot of work. It really is, but I enjoy it. I really like it. So one of my readers was saying that, with the prepping and all that stuff that some of us are doing, to make sure you have some books, because if none of the electronics are working, at least you'll have something to entertain yourself. You can read some books. Maybe you can learn a new hobby. As long as you have some light, you can do a lot of things. So I think a lot of us, I know for me this is true, I'm too focused on social media, but part of that is because, of course, I have a YouTube channel, so that's part of the reason why I'm very focused on social media. Otherwise, I think I would give it a break and do some other things, but I don't know, it's kind of relaxing to me to, watch TV sometimes and just not have to think about what I'm doing, just be entertained. So when I was younger, I never watched TV, hardly. Well, I can't say never. I hardly watched TV. I wasn't a big, huge fan. But nowadays, it's so doggone hard to find any good shows to watch. They're all making a statement or trying to reel you in with their narrative, or, every show has weird things going on that you really don't see in everyday life. I mean, you see it, but, it doesn't have to be in your face constantly. That's what I don't like. But I guess that's how they desensitize people. So anyway. So I'm glad that I don't have to cook tonight. I still have pasta. I have potatoes that I made in the microwave that I can do something with. I still have rice. I mean, it might require me to add a few things, if I want stir-fry rice, I would add some veggies and an egg. But, that takes like 5 minutes. It's almost more like heating up your food. Because I don't have to chop up the food and stuff. I would just take something frozen out of the freezer. And then I also have some frozen, not chicken, that I could put in there. I don't know. Right now I'm not hungry, so I don't know what I'm going to make. But I have plenty of choices in there that I don't have to cook. So that's one nice thing about being single. You can eat whatever you want, whenever you want. You can do whatever you want. So I really enjoy that about being single. Sometimes I think, what do I like better? Do I like being married or in a relationship, or do I like being single? And honestly, right now I really like being single because I've never had this much freedom. I mean, I got married when I was 21, and so then of course, I had a husband. I had to consider him. Then, of course, I had my kids and my parents, and before I got married, of course, I lived in my parents' home, so it was their rules. And this is really the first lengthy bit of time where I haven't either been in a relationship with somebody, been married, or had a significant other that I lived with. And I just absolutely love the freedom. You know, I don't have little grandkids anymore that I babysit. I mean, I miss that. I do. You know, they're all tweens or teenagers or young adults. So I miss that part. But the freedom of being single is just absolutely wonderful. And I love it. And, you know, I really never get lonely. I really don't. I know some people like to have somebody around all the time, but I'm never lonely. You know, people ask, don't you get lonely? And it's like, honestly, no, I don't. I'm just too busy to think about that, I guess. Maybe if I didn't have anything to do. I mean, sometimes it would be nice to just go have, you know, a coffee or a lunch with somebody, but I can do that with my girlfriends. I don't have to do that with somebody I'm in a relationship with. So anyway, that's my take on being single. I like it. I know some of you, a lot of you are widows or divorced, so you're kind of in the same boat that I'm in. So leave me a comment below. What do you think about being single? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you unsure, you know, what you think about it? Maybe you're new to it and it's really strange for you. But leave me a comment below and we can start a conversation about what we think about being single. So, all right, my friends. Well, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.